Here we are live. It's the big show with Bruce here at Traveling with Bruce. I got two channels. I keep forgetting which one is it. It's Traveling with Bruce and Rear. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the Monday show, the big show, on September the 20th, 2021. Nice to have you here tonight. Welcome one, welcome all from around the world. Say hi to me today. Tell me what your high temperature is. What's the price of gas where you live, and how are you guys doing? Are you going on a cruise? If you're going on a cruise, tell me when, what ship, where, and how long has it been since you've been on a cruise? Tell me, folks, how long has it been since you've been on a cruise? Jen and I were last on a cruise. Auntie Jennifer and I were last on a cruise on the Norwegian Epic 2015. 2015 was the last time we were on a cruise ship, and had we known that that would be the last time we were on a cruise ship, I would not have believed it. I would have thought, you are full of crap. There's no way. But yeah, I think so. I think it was 2015. The only way I could be wrong is if we did a cruise out of LA after that, in 16 or 17. But I cannot guarantee you that. I do know that we did a cruise out of Los Angeles one year, and we had booked a van. We had a van rented. We don't own a van. We had rented one, and maybe just maybe the last cruise we did was on Princess, because the Norwegian Epic was out of Miami to do a Caribbean cruise. The Princess Cruise Line, I'm not sure the name of the ship, but would have been the Mexican Riviera. And that could have been 2016, 17, because that is bringing memories back to me about how we still had items in storage in the desert, in Palm Desert, California, and we wanted to bring it back to Canada. But and we did bring it back. We brought it back via a van to Creston. But geez, I can't remember if this was it, but that must have been it. Oh my gosh, it's so long. I'm even having trouble remembering. That's how long it's been for me to go on a cruise. Too long. I gotta go on a cruise so bad. The good news is things are happening. Jen and I are getting a day closer to a cruise every day that goes by, because we sold our house in Creston a couple of weeks ago. We moved out about a week and a half ago. We arrived in Calgary and put everything in storage. We hung out with our daughter for a little while. And now, just this past Thursday, we are now in a top secret hotel location here in Calgary, where we have our own king size bed in a separate bedroom over here. I'm in a living room kitchenette thing here. We have a bathroom over there, and the hotel has an indoor swimming pool and jacuzzi, hot tub, range of spa, hot tub thing, all indoor, and it's all inclusive. And so we're loving it. We're really happy with this whole setup. But today, big day today, we booked airplane tickets one way to Los Angeles, baby. One way flights. We ain't coming back. Never coming back. Well, we'll come back eventually, but we don't know quite what the date is. But we're going to head to the States, and we're going to land in Los Angeles in early October. Not going to tell you the date. Top secret. And when we get there, I will have arranged to rent for a month a Tesla. And I'm still picking out the model. I haven't decided which model, but there are so many for rent in LA. It's unbelievable. The choices are unbelievable. So we're going to get a Tesla for a month at least. And we're going to drive it to Palm Desert, California, and hang out in the desert for a while, which is where we lived at one time for about 6-7 years, from 2000 to 2007 or so. And we're looking forward to heading back there. So we're going to catch a few months down there, and then we're going to travel from there to various locales. Now, we don't know yet where we're going. You got to tell us. But we're thinking maybe a flight to Hawaii might be in order. Maybe a cruise down the Mexican Riviera. Maybe a cruise through the Panama Canal. Maybe we fly to Florida and we take some cruises out of Florida. We are open to all kinds of ideas. We're thinking we might fly to Mexico for a couple of weeks. We might fly to Caribbean island or two for a little stay. We don't know. So, what would you like us to do? What kind of videos should we be making for you? Traveling with Bruce videos, wherever we're going. Cheers, by the way. By the way, look at that. There's McDonald's in Calgary. We don't have a McDonald's in Creston. Jen and I went out for lunch today at a McDonald's. What a treat! Oh, it's so incredible. Anyway, we're getting stuff done, and we're nomads. We are now living out of our suitcases. Although I have to admit, in this room there is more than just two suitcases of stuff. My coffee maker is right over there, which will go into storage before I get on the plane. With tears, I'll say goodbye to my storage bay, my coffee maker. But we will be flying south without it. And we have a little more than two suitcases of stuff here right now. I'm sorry to say, but it's true. I admit it. But we're adapting. This isn't a three-bedroom house with a carport and an upstairs, downstairs. This is a hotel suite with a bedroom, a combination living room, kitchenette, and a bathroom. And everything we have that we're using is in here. And whatever we aren't taking with us will go into storage, and then we will leave Calgary with just two suitcases and two carry-ons, and that'll be about it. And well, that should be entertaining. How much of a do I get? Half a suitcase? Do you think I'll end up with half a suitcase? We're gonna figure that one out. Oh man, I don't know. Welcome one, welcome all to the show tonight. Amica says, "Hey, I'm like number two here." Ken, good evening, Bruce. Welcome, and all from Saginaw, Michigan. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Ken, for being here from Saginaw, Michigan. The temperature is 73 degrees. And we're expecting heavy rain the next 3 days. Gas is $3.01 a gallon, Janet and Ken. Here in Calgary, gas is a lot cheaper than Creston, where we used to live. Creston was about $1.48 a liter. At $1.50 a liter, we're talking $5.50 a gallon for a U.S. gallon in Canadian money, or about $4.40 American ballpark. Here, it's about $4, $3.80 American for a U.S. gallon. So it's a bit cheaper here, but it isn't cheap gas. It's still up there compared to most places in the U.S. Kirk, hi, Bruce and TWB family. Kirk from the Big Apple is in the house. How you doing there, buddy? Tom, hello, TWB family. Jeannie, hi again, Bruce. Bill and Jeannie are back for the big show. Nikki, hi, Bruce and fam. Roger and I are here for prime time. Welcome. Willie, I booked my first cruise on Wonder of the Seas, March 4th, 2022. Way to go. Stephen Siderman, 3 years since my last cruise. There you go. How long has it been since you've been on the cruise, and what ship was it on, and where did you go? Talk to me. Jan Pippin, what one has to pay? What's that? Double D, again on a cruise in January 2020, just before the pandemic. That's when I got on my last cruise. Steven Siderman, October 9th, the Mardi Gras is when I'm going on my next cruise. Andy, hey Bruce, 86 this afternoon. Before the rain, now 68 in Des Moines, Iowa, I believe that would be. Next cruise in 42 days on the Independence of the Seas. Can't come soon enough. Is that one leaving Galveston? Is that Galveston departure? I'm not exactly sure which one that is. Robert Glenn, hello, Bruce from Chile, Boston. Going on the Norwegian Epic in January out of Puerto Rico. That's the ship we were on. We were on that ship, like I said, in 15. We had done a wonder trip up until that cruise. Jennifer and I had visited our daughter for Christmas in Berlin, Germany. So Jennifer and I flew to Germany for Christmas, spent it with her and her boyfriend. Then we took a train, high-speed train from Berlin to Frankfurt to Paris. Then we stayed in Paris for New Year's Eve. Then just the two of us. And then we took the Channel train, from Paris to St. Pancras Station, I think it's called, in London. From that station to Heathrow. And we spent a night at the hotel in Heathrow. The next morning, we were on a plane to Miami, non-stop from London to Miami. Got to Miami late in the afternoon and rented a car, had our hotel booked, rented a car, hit the Costco, ate some high-quality food at Costco that night, and the next morning, we had already picked up provisions, and we got on a cruise ship, and that was the Epic, and we took a 7-day cruise for early January. We were taking, I think, January 4th to 11th, something like that, and then we flew out of Fort Lauderdale nonstop to Las Vegas with Don King on board the plane, JetBlue, the fight promoter with the hair that stands straight up, and spent one night in Vegas. We spent one night in Vegas, and then the next day we reluctantly flew home, and that was the end of our epic journey from Calgary to Berlin to Paris to London to Miami, 1 week cruise to Vegas, back to Calgary. 2015 slash or 14 slash 15. That's what it was. Christmas 14, January 15. That was something. That was something. Sylvia, hi there, Bruce. No, hi Sylvia, how you doing? Hi there, Tom Henry. She said. He's saying hello back, which a lot of our members do here. We say hi to each other. Eddie Albert, sorry late. Hope all's well. Welcome, Eddie. We're good here. Todd Irby, hi Bruce. Just booked a 7-day cruise to Barbados on the Norwegian Getaway. I'm going to go on the 4th. That would be the April the 10th to April 17th, 2022. This coming up. Last cruise that I had was July the 25th, 2021, to the to August 1st, to Greece on the Jade. Right on. So it's not that long. Jeannie, we got off the Mariner of the Seas, our last cruise, on March the 6th, 2020. A few days later, the pandemic was announced. Isn't that something? Yeah, you just beat the deadline. You got home. Embassy Suites, laugh out loud. Nope, we don't have an Embassy Suites in Calgary. So you guessed wrong, but it's kind of like an Embassy Suites, but it's not. Don, the reason I cannot come to New York City on November is because I'm thinking about going to New York for NYE, but that might be up in the air too. So what's going on? We don't know. Eddie, gas is $2.94 in Charlotte. I believe that's North Carolina. Raining and getting ready for a chill down here. It's going to cool off. 29 days until Celebrity Equinox in a retreat suite. Cannot wait. Been 2 years since my last cruise. Oh man, can you guys stand it? It's been so long. Tom Henry will miss seeing you. Sylvia, we're going to miss you. Andy, not Galveston. Independence of the Seas relocates to Port Canaveral November 1. So you're going to be going out of Port Canaveral instead. All right, gotcha, man. Right on. Double D. Still no word when cruises will be sailing again in Australia. Might have to fly to the U.S. and do a cruise there. Isn't that amazing? If you can even fly to the U.S. I don't know if we could fly into Australia yet. Arlene is saying, hi, Arlene. My agent is on hold with Celebrity over 3 hours to fix a billing issue. 3 hours on hold. Things are so crazy now. Taking the reflection in November. I can't wait. Isn't that amazing? 3 hours. Nikki, we got off the Emerald Princess on March 15th, 2020. March 15th, 2020. Robert, Monica, Moncada. Robert, how are you doing? Hey, Bruce, last cruise was on Carnival Vista, October 2019. Next cruise, October 16th on the Mardi Gras. Isn't it amazing when you think that when you got off your last cruise, you had no idea that the next time you're going to be going on a ship could be years from now. You know, had we known, right? Of course, how could we have known, right? Unbelievable. Just amazing how long it's taking here. Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl, I retired from Holland America in March. Booking Alaska, August 22. I've missed this so much. I can imagine you would have as a Holland America employee. Great company, great cruise line. They were very kind to me, Cheryl. I remember I was on the air for only about a year, maybe year and a half. Oh yeah, it was just over a year. And I wanted to do a little thank you to my viewers because I was a brand new YouTuber, my first year anniversary coming up. And I wanted to do a little giveaway. So I contacted a couple of cruise lines, including Holland America. And I asked if it would be possible. Do you have anything that you guys hand out for special promotions? Because I'd like to do a giveaway. I'd love to give you a special mention and all that. Well, oh my goodness. Got a package sent to me by Loomis Courier within 3 days. Had 20 items in there to hand out to my viewers, courtesy of Holland America. The only cruise line that sent me anything. Nobody else did a dang thing. So there you go. Got a special place in my heart for you guys. You betcha. Kirk, with the low prices on flights and cruises, I'm looking to cruise on my vacation weeks. Right on, man. Sylvia, Tom Henry, I will miss seeing you and Cindy too. Have you been to Alaska before? I've been watching Griff and Alicia in Alaska, and I've been thinking about going. Sylvia, Tom Henry, watching Don and Tony also in Alaska. Tom Henry, no, Sylvia, never been to Alaska. Figured the trip last year to South America was similar for weather and so on. Cheryl Howe, loving it. Thank you, Cheryl, and love you too. Sylvia, last cruise for me was the Encore, January 2020 inaugural season on the Encore. Wow, how about that? Yeah, Jennifer and I took our first ever cruise on a modern cruise ship, the Oosterdam, the Holland America Oosterdam, San Diego to Mexico and back. 7 days, 7 day Riviera cruise, and we loved it. We absolutely loved everything about it. The food was great, the service was great, the ship was great. Loved the promenade deck on the ship, and loved walking around the back of the ship and looking out over the water there. Oh, I love that. Enjoyed the entertainment, and the ports of call were okay. I mean, it was Cabo, and it was Mazatlan, and it was Puerto Vallarta. But it was just a nice getaway, warm weather, getaway to nice warm weather instead of winter in Canada. It was so lovely. After we did that trip, we landed in San Diego. We rented a car, and Jennifer and I went to Palm Desert for a 1 week stay to visit old friends and stuff. And that extended our winter a little longer. Primo, that was lovely. But we had to fly home. Unfortunately, we had to leave, come back to Canada. But that was back in 2008. 2008, we did that cruise. And I was on a cruise. That was a cruise in March. I was on my next cruise on the Norwegian Jade in September with my daughter. That was the daddy-daughter cruise that we put together, the Make It Work cruise, where she and I flew from Calgary to New York and spent 4 days in the Big Apple. And I took her to all the fashion districts of New York City. And then we flew nonstop to London Heathrow, and we flew then a few hours later to Berlin, Germany, and we spent 4 days or 5 days in Berlin together. And she was studying German at the time. My mother's German. I had been to Germany as a child with my parents. It was the first time back for me. I'd never been to Berlin as an adult, or Germany as an adult. And that was a really neat thing for the two of us to experience together. And then we flew back to London, and we caught a bus to Southampton, where we got on the Norwegian Jade, for an 11-day Mediterranean cruise. And we left Southampton and went past through Lisbon and through Vigio and a few other stops in Spain to Rome and to Naples and Rome and Florence. And then we ended up in Monte Carlo and then back to Barcelona. We ended our trip in Barcelona. That's where we got off. We got an airplane ride. The same day we got off the ship, we got an airplane ride to New York nonstop, rush across from Long Island all the way to New Jersey to get to the airport there to catch a flight nonstop back to Calgary. And we made it with 5 minutes to spare. We got to the gate just on time to get the plane out of New Jersey to get to Calgary. And that was a trip that I haven't forgotten that trip. My daughter remembers most of it, but I remember every detail of that trip. She was 20 at the time, and it was the last time that Daddy and the daughter would really be able to spend any quality time together, because now there were going to be other men in their life, and they were going to be a lot younger, and they weren't going to be her dad anymore. But that was a pretty cool trip. We both enjoyed it very much. Chuck Spencer, my last cruise was on the Carnival Magic for my 44th birthday, January 2020, just before COVID, just before, you betcha. Eddie, your YouTube is freezing up now and then, just for your information. I can't change it. The hotel Wi-Fi is what it is. Rocky, do you have any issues crossing borders on your LA flight due to COVID? No. We do not need to be vaccinated. We only need a negative test within 72 hours. Can you believe it? That's ridiculous. That is so lax. I can't believe it. But I am fully vaccinated. So is Jen, and we will have our test, and we'll have no trouble crossing, from what we're told. No trouble whatsoever, and we'll get into LA, and we'll avoid big fat crowds as best as possible. Buffering. Unfortunately, that hotel internet is not very good. I know it comes and goes. We're having little issues there, but it won't be long before we're gone. Double D, on a shuttle bus back to the hotel after a cruise in January 2020, I overheard a couple saying that they had a cruise booked for every month of 2020. insane to think that all that was scrapped, all lost. Isn't that sad? That is disappointing, isn't it? You had to watch all those cancellations. Now they probably got all kinds of credits and bonuses and future cruises and all that, but still, it's lost. It's lost. It's lost. And here we are in 2021, going into 2022 to take a cruise. And what are you going to do? It's just the way it is. The news that I have for you today is a little more kind of travel related rather than cruise related, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel here. First of all, in Canada, we found out today that administration has officially notified Canada and Mexico that land crossings are not going to be allowed starting September 21. Now delayed until October 21, subject to review then. So we cannot drive across the border until at least October 21, and there's no guarantee that we'll be able to do it. Whether you're vaccinated or not, it makes no difference. You cannot cross the land border by car. You can fly from Canada to the United States without vaccinating, just a negative test. Airfare, airwise, you're fine. But driving, no can do. Canadians are pissed off to the nth degree. We are pissed off because Americans can come into Canada if they're vaccinated and they have a negative test, but America will not reciprocate, and we're just pissed off. Frustrated? Yeah, no kidding. But Jen and I will fly, we'll rent a car, and we'll just deal with it. It is what it is. That's one piece of news. Now, the other news, and this is also upsetting Canadians, that the Biden administration is proposing to allow Europeans to fly into the United States and many other countries to fly into the United States if you are vaccinated and have a negative test. You won't have to be isolated, no quarantine, all that kind of stuff. So that is coming now. Now, this is good news for the cruise business out of Florida, of course, and elsewhere, because if Europeans can now come into the United States, they can take a cruise when they get to the USA. So a lot of Europeans will come to the United States for, say, they'll have like a 3-week holiday, and they'll be in the US for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And if you're going to go to Florida, you might land in Miami or Orlando, and you'll take in Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, whatever you want to do in Orlando, and then they'll work their way to Port Canaveral for a cruise for a week, or to Miami or Port Canaveral, or Fort Canaveral, or Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale. And they'll take a cruise. And at the end of the week, they might take 3 or 4 more days to enjoy the area that southern Florida, and then they fly home. A lot of Europeans have been stymied to be able to come in, and now they're going to be allowed into the U.S. with these provisions. So this could open up, of course, California for Asian travelers. This will open up Eastern USA for European. Obviously, the flights that will come right over the North Pole and land in Seattle, San Francisco, LA, Vegas, Dallas, Houston, you name it, New Orleans. Sure, that'll all open up as well. But Americans getting out of the U.S. and going to Europe, there are restrictions in certain countries to be able to get in and not in others. It varies. So there's a lot of, unknowns at this point. The hope is that vaccinations being proven vaccinations, and negative testing will open up the skies between all. What Canadians are wondering is, well, if you're allowing Europeans to fly in negative test, why aren't you allowing Canadians to drive across the border with their RVs, fully vaccinated Canadians, and negative tests? What's the dang difference? Because in theory, a Canadian can have his RV taken over the border by a commercial towing service, and the Canadian can fly over the border on a Cessna, I'm not kidding, on a helicopter, I'm not kidding, and fly 20 miles in, land beside their RV, and off they go. They're good to go. You can't drive a California, in Florida, in the Carolinas, in Texas. In Georgia, there are American property operators, RV parks, every theme park in America is going, what the hell is wrong with Canadians? They got an 81% vaccination rate up there. They're more vaccinated than Americans are. Why aren't you letting them in? What are you nuts? They're coming down here to spend money. What's wrong with you guys? Don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We must have said something. We must have said something because we're not welcome by land. It is the strangest. Yet Americans can come into Canada now since August the 9th. You've been able to come in. I don't know what's going on here. We'll see what happens. Okay. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Hey, Bruce. Manuel says, hey, Bruce, our last cruise was on the Carnival Vista 2 weeks before the shutdown, and we sail on her again in 25 days. Man, that's going to be great. Robert Glenn, Bruce and gang, planning a trip next summer on the NCL Pearl, Boston to Bermuda. Has anyone been on the Pearl? If Tom Henry is here, he probably has, but I'm not sure if Tom is here right now. Jericho, just sending the TW family some love from the Stock Markets with Bruce family. Catch you all in the morning, Bruce. Thank you, Erico. You have a great night. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern time, 1 hour before the market opens, so I can explain the stock markets to all of you in plain English. That's what we do 5 days a week, 8:30 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, 1 hour before the close of the markets. I go live on the channel. So you can catch me live tomorrow if you'd like to see me. Love to have you. Double D, I believe the reason they won't let Canadians into the USA is because if you were to contact COVID whilst there, the hospitals are already overrun and don't need to look after Canadians as well. And that could be it. Maybe the domestic scene down there is so bad off because we're hearing the nightmare stories that might be the actual issue. Yeah, you could be right. Although I got to tell you, the hospital scenario up here is a nightmare. We have nightmares up here in Canada with heavy crowding as well. So yet we're allowing Americans in. So I don't know what to say. How many people get ill that need hospital treatment that have been vaccinated? The number is extremely light. It's like less than 1% of the people in hospital right now have been vaccinated. Those in the hospital right now, 99% in Canada anyway, have not been vaccinated. There's the difference. So people do catch the virus that have been vaccinated. They test positive for it, but they test positive without side effects. They're not ill because the vaccines are fighting off the infection, the part of the infection. So, folks, is it political? Maybe. Is it logistical? Maybe. Combination of both? Probably. Michelle Brown, hi Bruce from New York City. How you doing? Welcome from the Big Apple. I love it when people join me from the Big Apple. It's one of my favorite towns. The word goes on the street that if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, and I believe it. Eddie Albert, hey, most of the Caribbean islands are on the Do Not Travel by CDC recommendations. That's what I heard too. Good day, Bruce from Lance Ross. How you doing, Lance? I think Lance is in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. A number of Caribbean countries are on the Do Not Travel list, but a number of them are. And then there's a number of Caribbean countries where America doesn't forbid you to go, but the country doesn't want you because Americans have got issues too. I mean, it's just a hodgepodge of nonsense. It's unfortunate, and there are just too many among us who will not get vaccinated, which perpetuates the disease. It elongates the time that we have to deal with it, unfortunately. That's the way it is. Double D, finally get my COVID shot on September the 28th. Vaccine rollout very slow here. Isn't that something? Eddie, I would be passed also. Why the face? Or I'd be pissed also. I'd be upset too. Yeah. Why the face? Yeah. Well, it is what it is. We just can't make heads or tails of a number of things. But we're thinking, all right, well, this year we'll fly south this year in the winter. We'll spend the winter down south without our own car, and then we'll see next year. Maybe next year it'll be open again, and then we'll head south in our own vehicle next year to the U.S. and enjoy it from that angle rather than flying from point to point. On the other hand, we might enjoy flying so much that we might only be in the U.S. for 2 or 3 months, and then we're gone to Europe already. Maybe we're going to fly to Italy in late February already, and enjoy the warm weather in southern Italy, and then slowly work our way north in Europe as it warms up, as the days get longer and spring comes around. And I don't know. We'll see. We might do a Mediterranean cruise in April or May. I don't know. Might see Greece, and that'll be warm depending on where in Greece we go. I don't know. I just don't know where we're going to be, when we're going to be, and how we're going to do it. I've always wanted to go to Australia. I've always wanted to see Dubai. I've wanted to see Singapore. I've wanted to see Japan. So there's certain areas I'd like to fly to and visit. That would be kind of fun. So hopefully it'll all work out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. No cruising here in Australia yet, but I've booked flights and accommodation to get over to Fiji. Fingers crossed. Hopefully Australia and Fiji open up international travel. Hopefully we can do that. Hopefully it'll work, Lance. They won't. Why won't people get it together and get the vaccine? Asks Stephanie. There is no excuse now. I hear you there, but we have anti-vaxxers here. I can tell you that straight out, Alberta. The hospitals in this province, in this city, are filled with anti-vaxxers who have come down very badly with the virus, and I mean badly. And there are a bunch of anti-vaxxers who are reaching out to their friends around here, telling them, get your shot immediately. You don't want to be in my position. And some of them are getting their shots. Others still don't believe it. And even their best friends, in some cases, are dying from the disease. They still won't get the shot. They don't believe it. They don't think it's real. I just there's nothing one can do when someone's in such denial. How do you overcome it? I don't know what to make. I do know that a lot of employers in Canada are now making it mandatory that if you want to stay in our organization, you want to report to work, you must be vaccinated. Otherwise, you're not allowed. Not allowed in the office, not allowed on site, can't work for the organization. And there are people getting let go. I mean, they won't do it. They will not get vaccinated. Even if they have to lose their jobs, they won't do it. The government here is saying, if you get let go by your employer because you didn't get vaccinated, don't come crying to us for unemployment insurance. We're not giving it to you. No unemployment insurance. If you lost your job because of anti-vaccine, no employment insurance. It's the same here, but we still won't get the injection. They still won't do it. Yeah, I know. It's really unfortunate, and it's sad to see deathbed pleas, pleas from deathbeds where people know they have days to live because they're on, they're fighting for every breath. They're pleading with their friends and relatives, their friends and aunts and uncles and cousins and everybody. And it's heartbreaking to see that. It really is. Getting an approved COVID vaccine will protect you against hospitalization and even death. Not sure why people don't want to stay protected. Again, we can't explain it. We can't. It's a mystery of life. I mean, it's really what it is. It's just a mystery that we can't put our finger on. It's unfortunate. But it is what it is. What I worry about, unfortunately, is the fact that in Africa, there are countries in Africa with 1%, 2%, and only 3% vaccination rates. And the problem with that is that the virus has a very fertile place to maintain a stronghold and keep growing. And what's coming up now is the variants. So every few months, the virus mutates into a different format, different style. And what I worry about in the long run is, will there be a variant that comes out that will not be able to be defeated by any vaccine. That's what I worry about, because that is the death knell. Now, if you get it, there is no cure, there is no prevention, and you're going to have to defeat it or it'll kill you. And if it's 80% effective in death, this is a calamity of epic proportions, and that's what I worry about the most. And anti-vaxxers are going to be partially blamed for this, I think. Good evening, Bruce, Andy, and Andrea in St. Louis. Welcome from St. Louis, guys. Nice to see you here. Michelle Brown, do you think cruise ships will cancel ports of call on the CDC level 4 list? Cruise ships will cancel ports of call. It's possible. I think what's been happening already is plans have been changed by cruise lines in some cases where they would have sold the cruise to the public saying, we're going to go here, 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 come back. And now they're saying, sorry, as we have the right to do whatever we want in the ticket, we can change any itinerary we want. We've changed the itinerary where we're going to leave Miami. We're going to have a day at sea. Then we're going to go to Coco Key for the on land, and the only people on Coco Key are from the ship. Then we're back on the sea for 2 nights. Then we're coming back to Coco Key for another day. We'll go on the sea for a night or 2, and then back to Miami. That might be it for land visits. It's basically a cruise with a couple of beach stops. I've heard already that cruises are doing stuff like we're going to Coco Key and then 2 nights at sea. Then we're doing a day at Labadee in Haiti, and then we're doing 2 days at sea, and we're back to Miami. So that you have very little contact with the outside world while on the ship. The only contact is with ship employees, fellow passengers. That's it. And that's what some cruises are becoming. And I wonder if more of this is going to happen. Hey, Bruce, it's been a while. How are you doing? AC Supersport. How are you? AC Supersport. Welcome to the show. If you can give us a thumbs up today, that would be great. Welcome to the broadcast. It's nice to have you here. Kirk, $681 balcony, Harmony of the Seas, November 21 for 7 days on vacations to go. Not a bad deal. There's deals for this nice ship all of a sudden showing up. My neighbors next door to me just got vaccinated today. I told them it's about time, laughing out loud. That's good news. That's good news for their safety and everyone else's, of course. Yes. That's good stuff. I hear today something about, what was it? Pfizer's vaccine, now effective in a lighter dose down to 5-year-olds. 5 to 12-year-olds might be eligible for a vaccine shot from Pfizer very near future. So there's possibilities there of hopeful good news. Sylvia, 58 watching, 44 thumbs ups. Can you please give Bruce a thumbs up, please? Would you please do that, people? If any of you are able to do that, I would so appreciate it. Every thumbs up you give this channel in this video right here encourages YouTube to send more people over here, and that grows the show. Thank you, everybody. AC, big news on Norwegian Prima comes out tomorrow. We'll wait for that. Lance Ross, have a great show. I better get back to work. Lance, you take care. Thank you for popping in to see us. If you can throw us a thumbs up, that would be great. Fantastic. I did see something today about one of the cruise ships. Let me just double check something here. I believe it was the Costa Venezia. That ship is leaving China waters, heading for Europe. It's apparently a number of ships are leaving China due to various reasonings. One of which is they are having regional breakouts of the virus, and part of the problem is becoming train service and other transportation systems are now more unreliable than the cruise ships would like to have to live with. And apparently, to get passengers to ships and get them back home has become an issue. And so cruise lines have decided that because of a number of areas in China are breaking out with variants, they're going to avoid China altogether for now. reposition the ships through the spring, through now, to Mediterranean cruises only, and they'll probably do Southern Mediterranean through the winter, and keep the ships running somehow, some way. There might be some more cruises coming out of Dubai because of this too. We'll have to watch for that. But yeah, China's got problems. Among other problems that they have, financial and other problems, now they have the problems of variants. Now, I'm wondering about one other thing, and that is the Wonder of the Seas, the new, great, big, largest cruise ship in the world. That ship was supposed to go to China, um, Shanghai, I believe. But now there is another worry that is beginning to surface, and it might cause changes. Uh, China itself is having internal economic issues. The big issue right now is that their largest property development company, the one that builds giant 40, 50, 60-story towers, condo towers, and they'll build 20 together in a cluster, and then they'll build 20 more over here. They build shopping malls, they build strip malls, they build subdivisions. On of this particular company, um, I can't remember the name of it, but it'll come to me a little later. It's Evergrande. That's what it is. Evergrande. Evergrande is a company in China that has been for 15 years building and building and building and building condos and whatever under government directives and approvals. And what they do is they build these giant condos and then they sell the condominiums individually to investors. And people buy them even though they're not going to live in them because they don't live in the city that they're for sale in. They're just speculating as real estate speculators. What these folks are doing is they're taking mortgages out on these condos and they're making the payments on the condos while they're holding them. And anywhere from 1 to 3 years later, they sell them for a profit. That's been the plan, and that's been the deal up until a few years ago. They would flip them for a profit and they would buy another. And now a number of families in China, many families that have 30, 40, 50 members of a family, they'll get together once a month as a family unit and they'll pool dollars together, currency, and they will buy 3, 4, 5 of these. They'll buy an entire floor of condos, the 38th floor, they'll buy the whole floor. And then they ride the investment, pay the mortgage payments every month as a family collective. And then once they start selling them, they start cashing in on their investment. This has worked well until about 2, 3 years ago. And now in the last year or two, in particular with COVID, of course, things have really slowed up. And all of a sudden there are condo towers, thousands of them in China that are not sold and aren't selling. And there are dozens of property builders of these kind of units, including the big one, this particular company, that can't sell. They can't sell the units. So they're building them on borrowed money, but they can't flip them out. Some are sold, 1/3 sold, half sold, quarter sold, but not fully sold. And so this company is running into money problems. They are having trouble making payments on their bonds because their expected sales of their condos is not coming through. Now, this is not a problem for cruise ships. This is a problem for China, the country, because if you have family units that are working to put money together every month to make the mortgage payment, everything is fine. The problem lies in that this one particular company, this large real estate developer, Evergrande, they employ 200,000 people full time, and then they employ 2 to 3 million people as construction workers. And a lot of construction workers and their families are gambling on the very condos that they're building. And so they pool together their dough, and half the family works as construction workers, others work as accountants and whatever. They pool their dough together and they have to bring so much money every week to the pot or every month to the pot to keep up the mortgage payments on however many units they control. And the units aren't selling. And the bankers want their money. And now construction workers are getting laid off because the construction company has stopped building. They can't build anymore. They've run out of money to borrow to build, which means they're laying off their workers, which means the workers can't make the payments towards the condos that they've already bought from the same builder that they work for. And now the chain reaction, what we call contagion, is taking place. And now these banks are not getting paid their loan payments and interest charges on millions of condos. We're not talking 5 or 10 or 100 or 1,500, millions of condos, all finished, unoccupied, all over China. This is now snowballing into a big fat mess in China, which means that banker employees of banks are getting laid off. Mortgage departments are getting shut down. There are investment funds in China that are also heavily speculating in these units too. And now they're having problems because they have been selling guaranteed investment certificates to investors who just want to get a set interest rate on their money. The interest rate that was being paid to these investors was coming from the sale and the flipping of condos. The liquidity is gone. And all of a sudden, millions of Chinese people are not getting their monthly payouts from their mutual funds, the ETFs. It's causing a complete meltdown over there. And it's barely being recorded and talked about in North America. But what it is doing is forcing many Chinese folks who were thinking of going on a cruise to cancel cruises and other vacations. The travel business in China is collapsing along with the economy. Last month, they came up with a retail sales. They were supposed to gain 7%. They only gained 2%. It's a slowdown that's happening right now, even in retail sales. And so this entire mess is snowballing out of control. And I have a feeling it's a possibility that the wonder of the seas from Royal Caribbean will not go to China after all. It might literally be kept in America for a while and sail out of Miami longer than previously thought, because the Chinese market is going to crap out. We're wondering about an absolute full-blown domestic recession in China because of the real estate fallout that is now falling everything over. It's like dominoes. Everything's falling over. The stock market today in New York reflected this worry for the first time. It showed up on Wall Street when the market was down over 900 points with 2 hours to go in trading today. And the Dow Jones was off, the S&P was off, the NASDAQ was off. It was ugly this afternoon. There was a slight recovery at the end, but we might have another drop tomorrow if this continues to come out, as I suspect it will. It's ugly over there. China's government's not admitting to anything. They're not letting on that anything is wrong because they don't want to lose face. That's the Chinese way. But the bankers are going, we can tell if they're going to, how they're going to handle this, because the Chinese government is going to have to pump money into its own bond markets and banking systems to keep everything flowing over. The problem is you have hundreds of millions of Chinese workers who are going to get laid off for lack of work, because you do not need to build another 5 or 20,000 condo towers and office towers where there is no one to rent them. And so we're going to be looking at, I think, a real mess here that is going to keep imploding, because the Chinese economy is on stilts, and the stilts are starting to teeter, and I think we got us a problem. So we'll stay on top of this, of course, on the other channel, but I kind of wonder about cruise ships already leaving China. They're not coming in. The excuse is the virus. That's the excuse. The reality is economic calamity is what's going on, and I think it's beginning to percolate and grow outside of just the real estate market. Join me at 8:30 tomorrow morning on the other channel. I'll update you on the latest. It's unbelievable. I gotta tell you, it's wild. Hopefully it will not spread outside of China. It'll stay domestic, because it is a communist country, a communist government. They control everything, including this hyper growth curve that they've been on to try to spur economic activity. And they're trying to keep their population busy working rather than busy protesting. Unfortunately, the layoffs are coming and are happening as we speak, and I think the protests are next. So there might be internal issues there, and that could be even add a longer delay for cruise ships to come back. Stay tuned. I'll keep you posted on the latest. Anyway, there you have it, guys. That's what I've got. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. AC Supersport, the Chinese cruise market is weird. I don't know why Royal thought Wonder of the Seas would work if NCL couldn't get the NCL Joy to be successful. I agree. Double D. Hey, Bruce, did you used to work in accounting before you became a nomad? No, no, I never worked as an accountant. Jan, Double D, he was a stockbroker many, many years ago, and that's true. I lost you for a while, Bruce. Welcome back, Stephanie. Jan, Stephanie, I to you, my friend. Brent, hi, Bruce and Jen from lovely metropolitan Ancaster, Ontario. Any thoughts about the possible refunding of the PVSA? I do not know what the PVSA is. The refunding of the PVSA double. China is insane with infrastructure. Since 2011, they've been building 6,000 miles of highway each year. Yep, AC Supersport. Also, I've been seeing pictures of a weird Vista class ship, Costa Ada mix, being built in China for the Chinese cruise line. Do you think that ship will leave China too? That I don't know. I've heard that between Carnival and government of China, they formed a 50-50 partnership where Carnival will be the operator and the Chinese cruise company will build the ships and they will manage. Carnival will manage it with them. So that's no risk to Carnival. We'll see how this works out. Hi, Jen. I'm doing good. How are you, Jan on the land? Stephanie, I'm doing okay. I'm glad you are too. Finding life a wee bit stale without nowhere to go. Stephanie, it is starting to happen like that in Dubai. Issues there too. And whenever China has an economic collapse, they usually spend billions on infrastructure. I bet Dubai went crazy with that building spree. I never thought it would. Miss Bruce is crazy backdrop of all those cards from around the world. Eddie, Charlotte, North Carolina has a great number of new business buildings and apartments. Not sure if they'll be occupied. Not good. Nick, the U.S. needs more people working and less protesting as well. There you go. Brent Rogers, sorry. Yes, it is what it is. The world is it's not perfect, and there are issues here and there. And we're wondering, with the pandemic. The pandemic is one thing. The rest of the world is another. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Sorry, should have been rescinding of the passenger vessel service act. Oh well, I haven't heard anything new other than Alaska. I heard something about Alaska asking the U.S. Congress through their senators, or yeah, I guess the senators for Alaska are proposing a law to basically allow cruise ships to sail from Seattle to Alaska without stopping in Canada up or back. They want to cut Canada out and just, because Canada won't allow ships in, why don't we just cut them off? And I don't think that's going anywhere. Travel safe, hi Jen, from Eddie. So I don't think that's going to go anywhere, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I don't know about this. Whether foreign flag cruise ships will be allowed to frequent only U.S. ports other than this 1 year. This might be it. I know that Tony and Dawn, they were together on the Princess ship to Alaska and back, and now Tony is off heading home, and Dawn has done a second ship cruise, back to back, so he's still on it for another week. But that ship going from Seattle straight into Alaska and back without stopping in Canada. But I don't know if the U.S. will allow this to go forward on an ongoing basis. Got to tell you, the cruise lines actually like visiting Canada because Canadian tourists are a big part of the draw, and you can start a cruise from Seattle and stop in Canada, pick up a bunch of passengers, drop off passengers from the last week to Canada, go up to Alaska, come back to Seattle, drop off Americans, pick up Americans, go to Canada, drop off the Canadians, pick up Canadians, and keep going. You're going to be able to see this happening. I think this is going to be a normal thing. Victoria, too, might be a scenario like that, but Vancouver for sure. We'll watch for that. Glad I could catch your China rant. As always, brilliant insights. Thank you, Nancy. There's so much going on over there. It is scary. The world is not perfect. My December cruise on Holland America got canceled. The world is not perfect. AC booked a cruise on the NCL Escape in 2023. It was supposed to get a racetrack and a laser tag this year. RIP. It might not be happening. Miss Vancouver on ships. I miss Vancouver. It's a beautiful city, beautiful place, and I know a lot of tourists really enjoy going to Vancouver. For even a day stop, you take some tours to Stanley Park and other areas of Vancouver. Gorgeous, gorgeous. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think that Vancouver will be cut out or Canada will be cut out. I doubt very much that's going to happen. But, senators are senators and they're Republicans and they're going to go their own way. But I think it'll be dead on arrival on the floor of the Senate because I don't think Schumer's going to even hear the bill. That's my hunch. I could be wrong. But anyway, there you go. Folks, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate visiting with you tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me here for the show. I hope you enjoyed some of it today and found a few things interesting. I look forward to seeing all of you next week at this time. If you would care to join me, if you're able to throw a thumbs up on the show, please help out and hit that thumbs up button. We'd like to get as close to 100 thumbs ups as humanly possible. If that is even attainable, I don't know tonight if we're going to make it. I don't know if we have enough people that can help us get to 100 thumbs ups before I go off the air. Does anybody know how many thumbs ups I have? Can anyone tell me? There are 57 of you here now. I'd be curious to know. I hope China's economic collapse doesn't give them rationale thoughts such as starting a war with Taiwan. William UB, Uncle Bruce, how you doing, William? I don't think China will start a war with Taiwan because the price to pay against the U.S. will be too dear. They'll be cut off from trading from European sources. They'll be cut off for trading from North America. They'll be isolated. I don't think economically they want to do that. Not with financial meltdown right now. I don't think they want to do that either. Love your show. We'll be back next week. Double D, thank you for being here. Take care, Bruce and Jen. We got 65 thumbs ups right now. Jen and Lamb saying 43, but Nancy says 54, and Eddie says 66. I think those of you who refresh your computer will get the latest, most up-to-date number. And if any of you can hit the thumbs up button before you leave us, that would be tremendous. It helps us spread good vibes with YouTube. They promote the channel to other YouTubers who might be interested in cruise ship news. And I thank you very much. Rocky says you got 66 and you have a great night. Thank you, Rocky, so much. AC, China thinks they will own all the Pacific now that Australia has nuclear subs. I think they're skeptical. Yeah, I don't like China's chances. I don't like China's chances at all. We'll see how all this plays out. There's so much going on. We have 66 thumbs up, says Stephanie. 66 thumbs ups. Jan, just a minute earlier, had put in 65, but we must have got another one. So we're only 34 away from 100 thumbs ups. And if any of you out there are able to hit that thumbs up button, please do so and get us a lot closer to the number. I know that those of you who are watching the show on the rerun, you will likely put it over 100 anyway, but I'm hoping you guys put us over 150. Thank you. Take care, everybody, says Jan on the Lamb. Robert, a 68, Bruce. You're only 32 away from 100. Mr. T, hey, Brucey boy, how you doing? Hi, pretty good, Mr. T. This is my 4th live show of the day today. 2 on Stock Markets with Bruce, 2 here. And having a lot of fun, but we're wrapping this one up real soon. Nikki, good night, all sweet dreams. Thank you, Nikki. You take care. Jan on the Lamb, thumbs ups. Bruce deserves it. Thank you, everybody. Bruce W. Bruce, see you on the Stock Markets with Uncle Bruce tomorrow morning. Nancy, you know I'll be there. Can't wait to find out what's going to happen tomorrow. AC Supersport, 70 thumbs ups now. Have a good night. 30 to go. Thank you, everybody. You've been just terrific to us. You've been draining that hotel Wi-Fi today. I see. Oh, I'm draining it. I'm draining it. But it's time to get off this thing. Getting your money's worth, laugh out loud. Double D, good luck on your nomad adventures. Have a great night. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30 if you're going to join me on the Stock Market channel, where we talk all kinds of stock market talk in plain English so anyone can understand it. But otherwise, I'll catch up with you guys the next time you catch up with me. Join me Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, live trivia for members only. Love to have you there. And otherwise, we'll see you next Monday. All right, guys, take care. All the best to you. Stay healthy. And we'll talk to you real soon. Thank you for joining me. Bye from now.